Let's call the meeting to order. First to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call please, Kristen. Commissioner Wilkinson.
Here.
Commissioner Birch.
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Okay. Any public comments? We have 4 minutes. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Any questions on the consent agenda? If not, I entertain a motion, please.
I'll make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
No, it's others.
No, I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other questions? Not? Oh shoot, what did I say? I totally lost that.
All in favor?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, new business, appointment to the commission to fill the vacant seat.
Frankly, I think it's a
One
no-brainer.
person that, do we need to have a motion to approve? So,
I'll make the motion we approve Mr. Gashardin to fill the vacant seat on our commission.
I will support.
Can I comment, Your Honor, before I leave?
Sure.
I served on the Minnesota City Commission for 24 years. I got off of my own volition in 2020 because what I set out to do, we had accomplished. And I was aiming at my retirement and planning for my retirement, and then my world changed. And now I find myself with a surplus of time on my hands and no particular focus in my life and 2 years away from retirement. I understand that this seat I would fill this seat until the next general election. Is that
No.
correct?
No, I don't believe so. This was an open seat that was that was open.
But I mean,
for this-
appointments are good until the next general election, correct?
We're gonna double check on that with the new charter, because it's either that or it's to fill out the balance of the
Yeah.
vacancy.
But the vacancy is for 3 years?
Yes, and this would be a 3-year term
Okay.
because of,
So, but an appointment, unless we changed it in the charter, I don't remember that we did, is to hold the position until the next regularly scheduled general election, in which case
Next
I
year.
would have to run for the balance of the 2 years,
Oh,
which I'm not entirely sure that I will do. But I'm pleased to accept the vacancy and whatever experience and expertise and corporate knowledge that I have is at the commission's disposal.
I think it's terrific. I was more than happy when I saw that. I thought, oh man, any experience we can get is terrific, so.
Well, Larry would have made a great commissioner too. Despite his lack of experience, I'm sure he would have learned fast. And I see that he didn't come.
No.
That was my kind of thought too, I mean, Larry even said it, if there was anyone else that was, more qualified or willing to take the position, he'd be more than happy to, and, I feel like the one person that was here to do it,
I agree. We're kind of a young commission amongst ourselves as far as experience, not maybe.
Well, you are now also the senior member in addition to being mayor.
Yes. So, no, I welcome, I welcome your expertise, as you and I have talked about,
Well, whatever I can do to help, I have no particular agenda.
just to build on this great dynamic we have.
I would like to just ask one question real quick.
Sure.
With your work, is there any kind of conflict of interest or anything that you can see moving
It's a good
forward?
question. I'm employed in Michigan by the Michigan Public Health Institute under contract with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. When I took the job, the MDHHS attorneys had to determine whether or not my service on the city commission would violate the Hatch Act, and it does not, because it is a nonpartisan commission and we serve at large. Same thing happened when I was housing director at Community Action Elgin Marquette, whether I could take that job as a seated city commissioner. And the attorney for Community Action Elgin Marquette made the same determination that because it's a nonpartisan board, I have no conflict with the Hatch Act. I did, when they had a vacancy on the county commission, I put my name in the hat for that seat. And Lansing attorneys decided that I could take an appointment to the board, but when it came time to run for the seat, I could not run for it because it would violate the Hatch Act.
Yeah, so respectfully, I knew that already, but I'm glad that you explained it. In terms of like voting or other issues, has there been anything that you've seen, coming down the pipeline or anything dealing with what the city has to do? Less about whether you can take the job or whether this will impact
Create a
you.
conflict of interest?
Yeah, the
It's my
vaccine.
understanding under the city charter that unless I have a direct financial interest in any issue that we vote on, I have to vote on every issue that comes before the city commission. I have sat in as the mayor and voted in favor of giving my brother a contract for the city to do work. And Rob was the city attorney at the time. I determined that I had to vote on it because I had no direct financial interest in my brother's business. And I was anxious not to avoid direct financial or direct conflict of interest, but also the perception of conflict of interest, which is equally important.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's the reason why I wanted to ask, is because conflicts of interest, they happen a lot in small towns and small counties. And I just wanted to at least, give you the opportunity to kind of like lay down your expectations with that personally as well as professionally. And so thank
And
you
I've
for
had
that
that
time.
conversation with the former prosecuting attorney when Todd Brock ran for sheriff, or ran for county commission as a sheriff's deputy. Her and I disagreed vehemently on that, whether he could serve as an employee of the county and as a county commissioner, and she ruled that he could. I ruled that he should, I opined that he could not, simply because you can't sit on both sides of the bargaining table. But she was the determining authority in that case, and he served admirably as a county commissioner and is now sheriff.
One question, I'm just sitting here thinking, you said, well, you had to vote on that project. You could have abstained, that's still a vote.
You can't. By the city charter, you're required to vote. Who do we have for city attorney these days?
Bill Nordine,
Does he ever come to meetings?
every second meeting.
Okay. You might put that to him, Bob, because Rob and I discussed it at length numerous times. And his opinion was that unless you had a direct financial interest, you had to vote, yes or no.
Yes, sir.
I don't know that I've ever heard of a vote of abstention on the city commission. I don't think anybody has ever.
Yeah, I don't know, that was just a question that I had, just.
That came up one time for me, in my first term. We were voting to adopt Lasco to be the IT manager for the city, and the bank owns part of Lasco.
Mhm.
Working for the bank, even though I really didn't have any interest, a direct financial interest, but I get paid by the bank,
Right.
and they're making money from Lasco. So, but Rob said, no, you have to vote, and,
Yeah.
but I'm glad he made sure that I could.
In the case when my brother had it was a small job that he did for the city, I don't remember what it was. But if I had been working for him, then I would have had a conflict of interest and could not vote. It's either could not or have to, there's no in between.
Okay. Anybody else with any other questions? Okay, motion on the table, was there a second? Okay, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Motion carried. Congratulations. Thank you,
Terrific.
too.
Terrific.
If I may I give you the oath?
If you want to.
Come over here if that's all right. So, I need you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office of City Commissioner
the duties of the office of City Commissioner
in and for the City of Munising,
in and for the City of Munising,
County of Elgin,
County of Elgin,
and State of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
All right. Got to be sworn in before you can be sworn at, right?
That's right. Thanks, Bob.
So,
Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, George,
Congratulations, thank you.
Kirsten. You are the treasurer.
all right, Ron. Just need your signature right here on that line.
Right here.
Yep.
So, thanks. All right.
Guys got new chairs.
Yes. Whoever sits in this one during the planning commission, it's always really low. So, you know.
Tall person.
Because I used to sit in that one, and I was always short. All right, moving on, committee appointments. So Devin, can you help me through this a little bit? Just on what, so we can start at the top and work our way down?
Yeah. Yep, so, the commission had previously tabled some appointments while maintaining others. As it is an agenda item, once again, anything's up for, discussion, debate, or assignment. The only thing that is required is that the mayor does serve on the DDA board.
Okay. Does anybody have any preference? Because I'm assuming everything highlighted is open.
Correct.
I do, Madam. I am already on the Alger County Parks and Rec Board. So I just as soon stay on that. There's no sense in having doubling up on that. And I have previously served on the Planning Commission. And I guess I'd like to, if I could, serve on that committee as well.
Oh, God, that's good of you to volunteer, Bob.
Oh,
I've done my time on the planning committee.
yeah, oh, I did too for a while, so, yeah, it's not,
And
but that would be the only
now,
comments I would make.
okay. Is Jordan already, is he on the recreation committee?
I'm on the recreation, not the parks and rec, or
Yeah.
different?
So we have an internal Parks and Rec board, so when we're doing our 5-year recreation plan, we meet to discuss the
Yes.
5-year recreation plan, so
Totally fine.
it's separate from the Alger Parks and Recreation Board.
Oh, there it is,
Perfect.
okay, and
That
yeah,
makes
you
sense.
get Bob on there, sure, okay.
Yeah, no, totally fine.
All right, so Bob, and then planning commission, great. Anybody else?
I mean, I did, I just wanted to make sure that I also knew, is that okay for him to serve in both roles? Are you at large currently, or does that screw up Alger Parks and Rec Board?
It doesn't, not that I'm a director of the Alger County Parks and Rec, and according to our charter, we have to have a member of the commission. And I can serve both places, both things, that's what Johanna was. Johanna was the representative from here to the Parks and Rec.
Okay, I just wasn't aware that she was serving in both roles. I didn't
Yeah.
wanna like automatically create a 4-member board over at Parks and Rec, and then they were searching for an.
No, we have a 5-member board, but yeah, frankly, we're looking, but I think we filled the 2 positions. Now,
Okay.
I don't know if Mike is gonna continue or not, but I hope he does, but I don't know if he is or not.
All right, as long as there's not an overlap there, then
No.
I don't think there's a problem
No.
with those. So, when it means as backup for the Alger Recycling Committee, what's the regular role?
So,
Well, I served on the recycling committee for 25 years. I don't even know if they're still active.
So this is actually a little bit different. This is the representative from the city of Munising for the 6-county solid waste disposal plan that QPAD's working on for all of the counties. They got a big grant to work collectively, and so they asked that we have one of our elected officials be appointed to that board for the duration, which was Chris Berry, and I want to say that would have been spring of this past year or
Yeah,
fall of
we
20.
never, they tried to pull a meeting together, and I don't think it ever happened, as my question to them was, can we do it Zoom? Because they wanted it in Delta County in Escanaba, and like 4, 5, or 6 o'clock at night, and so, but I really never heard anything more from it. So it's it's kind of a figurehead type thing right now. I think it's a great, opportunity, but, they really don't do a whole lot at this point.
Well, there's more of just the as backup aspect
Yeah.
that threw me off, and I wanted to make sure that
Yep.
that was clarified.
Yeah.
So. I mean, I've worked with some of the Acres people as well. I mean, if nobody else is jumping at the bit for that one, I wouldn't mind taking that one on.
Yeah.
But
All right. So, we need another commissioner for the buildings and grounds.
I can do it.
We really haven't done a whole lot.
No, the Building and Grounds Committee was very active in that, if I remember right, it was kind of created when we were going through what was called the 18-year plan. They had started working on a bunch of different ideas. It's waned in the past just because we're now doing our infrastructure planning 5 to 6 years out. So it's one of those, and then like our planning commission has input on our 5-year capital improvement plan. That stuff used to be mostly handled by Parks and Rec. I'm sorry, not Parks and Rec, but Building and Grounds. But a lot of times, the last few years, I don't think we've had many meetings, but it's more so prioritizing or decisions that are going to be on a project that I feel needs commission input, like anything big. We haven't had anything big because it's all underground infrastructure the last few years, but yeah, it's a pretty non-active committee.
Okay.
And that is it. Since we're doing it, that's the same as industrial park. I feel like I've been on that and haven't had anything.
Yep, industrial park meetings are called as needed.
Cool, perfect. I'm good with that as well.
Okay, so, the housing commission?
I would like to serve on the Housing Commission, Your Honor, if nobody else will. I do have some background in public housing,
A little bit.
a little bit.
Awesome. And then, this one kind of confused me below, one city commissioner.
It just didn't get carried over.
So,
That's
okay, so
open.
it's also, oh, so wait, do we need to fill it?
Which was that?
I'm
Oh,
underneath the
I-
housing.
I think it just.
Oh, it's planning
jumped
commission.
Correctly.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, gotcha, okay.
That's where I'm.
Oh, I
so-
see now, okay, all right.
That's,
Sorry, all right.
I did the same thing on my paper, so it's good.
All right, Board of Appeals, is anybody interested in that?
I can do that one.
And Labor Relations, I'll still sit on there. We need one more person.
I'll do it if no one else wants it.
We really didn't have any
You said
grievances.
just one,
when
wasn't
we-
it? Yeah.
Well, it wasn't really even a grievance, and Mike and I, because Mike was on there as well, and we both were at the meetings. Getting down there, airport liaison.
What does that consist of?
It is, and I don't, it's another one of the county boards where they have told us that we have a seat on the airport board, but they have no actual formal airport board put together, just
Cool.
informal meetings. So I don't know how active it's been. When we did the property exchanges and they started to kind of look at scoping for the future, there I think was a meeting or two that they invited our airport liaison, but it's been pretty much a non-function for a while now.
I think that it will get more active as activity increases at the airport, and I think the city has a vested interest in having a commissioner present at those meetings. I would be willing to do that if nobody else wants to.
That's a good choice. And lastly, acres.
That was actually the one that I
That's-
wanted. I mean, I don't mind doing both of them, that was the one that I was gonna request, I just didn't know the difference between the two. So,
Do you want it?
I do want it.
Perfect.
Okay, so you wanted recycling committee too?
I can.
Okay.
And then do you have a backup for the recycling committee?
That is it, because technically Chris is on it as primary.
They took it off, they took her off. You said all the ones that just said mayor because they were originally.
Yeah.
elected?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's QPAD needed an appointment, then they asked for the duration of the project.
So it has to be Chris?
it has to be Chris, and we have a backup in case. And it was more so in case, you know, Chris comes up for reelection, it doesn't get reelected or something like that, we have to have somebody.
And which one are we talking about?
This is
The
one at
very top one.
It was formed last year. It's
Oh,
a six county.
Algae Recycling Committee,
Yep.
I thought
Well, if you-
Grace volunteered to do that, didn't you?
It was kind of a mix because the one at the one at the top and the one at the bottom were both green in some format. So I was just kind of asking about that one as well at the same time. So, but if it sounds like those meetings are at a time where you can never make them anyway,
Right.
then the backup is going to be in the role.
They Zoom a lot of them now, I'm sure.
Well, that's what I was
QPAD does anyway.
hoping, and it just, this one meeting never came to fruition, I don't think. They couldn't decide on a date, so it's pretty much up in limbo. But I think it's definitely a worthwhile endeavor. So do we need to make a motion to approve these commitment? Okay.
I
Entertain a
will make a
motion?
motion to approve these committees, or everybody to these committees.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
All right,
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right. Appointment of John Tate to the Board of Review. Got his information and his qualifications. Sounds like he's new to the area and wants to get involved.
do you know anything about him?
Other than just, we just have a little synopsis. Do you know anything, Devin?
I don't see it.
John goes to my coffee clutch on Friday mornings.
Why, here's an endorsement.
Yeah. So John is a retiree. His partner is Victoria, and they're very active in the Moose Lodge and do a lot of community guidance stuff. He's pretty smart. He's had a chance to work on different boards as well. He was one of the Democrats that served as on the Board of Elections for the county canvassers as well. So he has experience with larger groups, but also just has the care and time to focus on the smaller ones. So.
And, well, he's a retired nurse,
Yeah.
so,
Heck of a bingo caller.
what's that?
That's a heck of a bingo caller.
Yeah, yeah. You've been there?
Once or twice.
Yeah, we had them at the county fair this year too, and they did quite well. So.
It's awesome that he wants to get involved.
Yeah,
If he's willing to serve, do we have anybody else who's willing to serve?
Not
It's
as
one of the prerequisites that they're willing to serve and have a pulse.
Yeah, I just got off of it, so yeah.
Yeah, one of the interesting statutory limitations on the Board of Review is that members who are appointed to the Board of Review cannot serve the local unit of government in any other capacity.
Yeah.
So we have to find 3 people who only serve on Board of Review, so we can't do like crossovers between planning commission or ZBA or anything like that.
so he'll be nice then.
Yep. No other questions? I entertain a motion.
I would move we appoint John Tate to the Board of Review.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, appointment of Claudia Van Landshoot to the Housing Commission. She wants to be reappointed.
I have known Mrs. Valanchuk for 55 years. Used to hit baseballs into her yard as a kid.
I think it's awesome that she's so involved in so many things.
Yes.
Me too. I've gotten to work with her on the rec plan.
I would move that we reappoint Mrs. Valanchuk to the Housing Commission.
I will support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So, opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
How long has she been on the housing commission, Sharon?
Forever. As long as I can remember.
As long as I've been here.
I think I might have appointed her the first time.
Just as a quick curiosity aspect, have we not had a meeting since November 14th?
The city commission?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking at the date up top, and so just to make sure that I'm understanding the procedure right about appointing to boards and stuff like that, how much of a delay do we usually have in terms of reappointing people like this compared to opening it up for other people to inquire about it?
It depends because with the Housing Commission, it basically, when Tricia Downs lets us know that one of their board members is up for reappointment, that's when they go through the process and get us everything. It's technically they're appointed by the city, but they operate actually more independently than even our DDA does, where they are a quasi-government unit, they're a component unit of the city. So outside of getting their audit and making the appointments, they operate almost independently. So I can't answer that question with with knowledge of it. Typically, we do appointments in December because I believe it's a calendar year appointment.
We had a meeting on the 18th, this would be the second meeting.
Okay. No, it's fine. I'm just making sure that, I mean, obviously, nobody wants to see Mrs. Van Lancher not included. It's more of just double checking the procedures and policies, so.
And nobody else applied.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, accept the award bids for the Lynn Street Tennis Court repaving. First, we would need to place the bid on file.
I move we accept the bid and place it on file.
No support?
Okay, it's been moved and supported to place the bid on file. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right.
Remind me, Devin, of our process for a single source bid.
So this actually doesn't fall under the sole source because it was actively bid with bid periods and recommendations to bidders. So we publicly bid this. Bids went out in October. They've been on our website. We've also posted them on a couple of the professional association boards for specialty court resurfacing. We have in the past, every 5 years, we do the court resurfacing. In 2014, we did receive 2 quotes, or 2 bids. The second bidder outside of Tennis Courts Unlimited is no longer in service from my understanding. So we did reach out to numerous contractors throughout the state of Michigan and northern Wisconsin and only did receive 1 bid.
Does it seem reasonable to you, the price?
Yeah, it seems to be going up about $1,000 every year, so this is about $5,000 more than what we paid in 2019. So it's consistent with what we have for a project. The Tennis Association is also dissolving, and they have requested that they donate the remainder of their funds with an approximate balance of $6,000 to the project as well.
And where would the rest of the money come from?
We have it budgeted in our capital improvements for Parks and Rec, I believe. So we budgeted $25,000 for it with a low bid at $21,000.
Any other questions? Hearing none, motion to accept the bid is it 21,000?
I'll make a motion to accept the bid from Tennis Courts Unlimited, Inc.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, the second?
I did, sorry.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carried. There's a little cliffhanger in the proposal at the very end. Contractors shall provide the city with 1/4 of each line paint at the end of the,
End of the project.
end of what?
Yeah.
Okay, next item up on the agenda, the boat launch pay draw 1.
So this is Midwest Construction's first pay draw, or a pay request. Actually, it's not a draw, it is a request. Engineers did review it and have made a recommendation to pay this.
$77,586.32.
That's the $1 million worth of work, and that's all they did this summer?
Yes.
When are they gonna finish it?
So-
Before I go loading in the spring?
Yep, so our contract date is final completion on June 30th.
Okay.
Any other questions? Would entertain a motion?
I will move we pay the bill.
I'll support.
Moved and supported to pay the bill. All those in favor? Any opposed?
And this is what confused me, Devin, the change order came after.
Yes.
the payment.
So there we go. Next item up is the boat launch change order.
So this is
Interesting.
change order number 2. The first change order was executed at the signing of the contract, pulling $373,000 out of the project, give or take. When they started the project in early November, 2 items that became fairly obvious immediately was that a very large poured-in-place septic tank that used to service the entire Browns addition had not been removed in its entirety as we had been told. And so part of the change order is to remove the septic tank, which is now above the elevation of our final grade for that area of the project. And the second being the extreme south side of the parking lot, essentially the area closest to the ball field, had a very large section of peat underneath of it as it had never been undercut. And it required 12,000, just under 12,000 cubic yards of sand to be placed. And typically, if it's peat in a project like that, we're not going to do much. However, it is the exact area where we're going to be putting a very large retaining wall to hold back that. So the change order is to essentially go undercut and replace it with a better quality soil to hold the retaining wall.
So, who told you the wrong information?
So it's never been part of a formal city project. In the past, we had been told that employees of the city had dismantled the septic tank. And it's partially correct. They took the top off of it and brought
It was cement,
it down. Yeah, oh, yeah.
grade, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was the really good pre-war cement with really good rebar in it. They brought it down to grade of where they needed to for the existing parking lot, but not beyond that. So we had been told that there was a septic tank that had been removed. We might find remnants. We did not expect to actually find 3/4 of a poured-in-place, probably 40,000 gallon septic.
It was massive, it was like 20 by 40 feet,
Mhm.
by 10 feet, it was huge.
Yep.
That's why I'm just floored that something that big can just be given that's good enough treatment.
Well, a lot of the work we do today is because in the past, and I don't place blame anywhere, but in the past, certain things were done on budgetary restrictions to do it in a passable manner, and our motto has been, if we're gonna do it, we do it right.
And the other aspect of this, I guess not impacting the bill so much, but is this gonna impact the usage of the softball field during
No,
springtime or other construction time?
no,
Okay.
no. No, in fact, I'm a little bit more worried about the early winter we had affecting it more than any of these change order items. The septic tank's pretty much removed, they've got some remnants left, and then the undercutting, they have pretty much all prepped, ready to go.
Who's the engineer we're working with at UPEA?
Kevin and Carol.
Any more questions? A motion to approve the change order?
I'll make a motion.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right. USDA water draw number 33, resolution.
This is the Varnum Street project?
Yes.
So this is the same project. This is actually one of the first draws for the Bayshore Well House.
Oh,
It is part of the project. This is replacing our Bayshore Well House. We've gotten to a point where the contractors are essentially ready to break ground now that we've got 40 inches of snow. But this is the billing through that portion of the project.
Did you figure out what resident engineering was? Wasn't that what we had questions on last time?
Resident engineering is our actually like on the ground project inspectors.
Any more questions? Otherwise, I entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve it. Support.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner Wilkinson,
Aye.
Commissioner Justardens,
Aye.
Commissioner Bird,
Aye.
Commissioner Prunick,
Aye.
Mayor Barry.
Aye. Okay. Okay. Item number 10, 2025 street maintenance projects. Coleman Engineering for $17,500.
Yes, getting ready for next year. Our audit is done, and they are working on the draft right now. Audit presentation will be hopefully early December, and immediately after that, we'll start working on next year's budget. So in preparation for that, we are starting to scoping some of our capital improvements. The proposal that is included from Coleman is essentially the preliminary engineering and any of the on-site engineering that would be needed for 3 projects. And we're actually going to, hopefully if approved, would be creating a project scopes for 1, 2, and 3. And when bids come in, we can look at our budget and see where we're at for each project. Grand Street is a 1-block street between Prospect and Varnum. And Charlie Lohr's house is the only house on Prospect. His water service is off of Varnum Street, so there's no utilities under it. So throughout all of the infrastructure projects we've had over the last 30 years, it's never been done. It is the lowest rated paved street that we have in the city right now in terms of condition assessment. Superior Street has been on our capital improvement plan for a few years. This stretches from Spruce Street, so the Hall Contracting block all the way up to Hickory, Hemlock, which is the Pathways building. That stretch was done in 1999, and at 30 years is now in need of a mill and overlay. The third portion is Cemetery Hill. The city has responsibility for Cemetery Hill from Prospect Street up to essentially the power lines, and at that point it goes to the county. The county is working with their township to do a very large preventative maintenance project on all of the streets surrounding the cemetery and addressing drainage on Cemetery Hill, addressing their failing pavement. So what we've been trying to do is work in tandem with them to do our section of Cemetery Hill that's also in need of a crushing shape. And so we're hopefully going to be trying to tie up similar bid timeframes and everything like that to try to get economies of scale on both projects.
The county's portion of Cemetery Hill is the drainage problem.
Correct.
Are they looking to install proper drainage up
Yes.
there at Y?
Yeah, so I've met with the engineer manager at the Bob Limbeck a number of times regarding the cemetery, and they are putting together a better drainage plan, and then we're also going to be working with them to address some of the drainage coming out of the cemetery, as the entire cemetery sheets right to it. So it may take the concept, or it may look like us putting in some additional structures up there to help them out, tying into their storm system. But at this point, the road projects are a priority.
And it says no outside funding sources will be utilized? We have adequate in-house funding?
We do. Yep.
What's our budget for these?
So we actually, until we scope them and start to put in the latest bid amounts that we have for things like asphalt, things like that, we really don't have
Where would the funding come from?
our major street.
Major
fund.
streets?
Major streets, Grand being local street.
Okay.
Any other questions for street maintenance projects? That's from Coleman Engineering, and $17,500.
I move we approve the proposal from Coleman Engineering for $17,500.
I'll support.
Moved and supported, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, public comment. Anybody?
This is a quick question. Are we doing anything with that SimCurrent thing that just came down the pipes? There was a historic grant for AI through a Marquette-based company. It was the first ever AI grant that was given through the USDA. It specifically meant to help smaller municipalities, which we would consider to help find additional grants that are outside of the scope and scale of traditional staff of the municipality. There was an application phase that was going on over in Marquette, and I think it's got to be in by next week. And so I was just curious if we had even heard about it or if it was discussed at all.
To my knowledge, we haven't heard about it. What is it called?
SimCurrent. I can send you the story on it. There was something on Radio Results Network about it, and so. But one of the things that I know that talking to people is that munising is so different than most of the other typical situations that it would be beneficial to get everybody that we possibly could, or use new technology, even if it's just to break everybody else and support another UP business, if it's for free. And that's what the initial declared municipalities would be, then I was just kind of curious if we did anything about it.
Can you send that to me too? I'm curious.
Yes, I will
I-
do so through Devin because I don't have your info.
Oh,
I think it might just automatically be in Microsoft there, but I haven't actually tested it out yet, so.
well, it was good test.
Okay.
So, cool, thanks. Anything else in public comment? Okay. I'd ask for a motion to
Make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn?
I'll support. It's been moved and supported to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
No one even asked. Opposed. Motion carried. Thank you.